And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Monday, the 8th, June, 2026. Hope you had a good day. Hope you have a good weekend. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. How about war or not war? I think I'm going to be nice today. How about scams and shams and corruption and debt and deficits? And you name it, we'll cover it. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. You go to X, put our name in. If you'd like to email us, you just got to be nice, got to be respectful. You can disagree with us 100%, and we can disagree with you 100%, but we'll be respectful to you. But you know what else we want to talk about today? Earthquakes. So I don't know exactly what time it was, but I felt something here in Central Florida. It was like a duh-duh-duh-duh-duh. It was like things moved. And I didn't really think about it. It was an earthquake. They reported it. It came off the southwest coast, and we felt it here in Central Florida. I've been in earthquakes before. I was in San Diego, California, where we had a really good one. I guess there's no good ones. Anyway, just letting you know, we experienced an earthquake here in Florida. I don't think that happens too much. Moving on. So, unfortunately, there are some conniving, cheating, thieving people, I think in a lot of industries, not necessarily every industry, but there are those that take advantage of things. But in Wall Street, we have found that people have taken advantage. We know that. Insider trading. People have gone to jail for that. We have no respect for anybody in D.C. from the president on down for their insider trading that is going on. Not necessarily the president doing it himself, but there were a lot of trades there, but no investigations whatsoever. If I'm the president, I'm investigating for all these trades being done before major news announcements coming from the president. That's what I'm doing. And then you have the insider trading people running their companies. And then you have what the CEO of NVIDIA did this weekend. We are not accusing him of anything except we're going to tell you what happened and what he said. And for the record, pisses me off. In my industry, there is a term, I think it's talking your book. It would be like, as you know, I'm on radio. And as you know, I'm on TV. Last week, I did the Fox Weather Channel. Yes, the Fox Weather Channel, they like me. And I'm on like every other week, and we'll talk business. I really don't do weather. But for instance, we did a segment on, what did we do a segment on? Hurricanes and insurance. Things like that. So we mix it up. I also did Liz Clayman's show on Thursday. And on Friday, I did a whole hour on the Big Money Show on Fox Business. Now, let me tell you what it would mean by talking your book. If I had a huge position in a stock, and I went, I'm going to use the word overboard in talking my book. gotta own it, gotta do it, gotta own it, gotta do it, gotta own it, gotta do it. But I'm just Gary Kay, and I don't have that much influence, right? It's not like I'm that guy on the other financial channel that's been on there for decades who has his own show. So we're just letting you know that on Friday, and this is a fact, NVIDIA stock was down $13 and change. The semiconductor, the stocks went down 1,400 points, I believe. Was it 1,400? I'm about to tell you. I want to get my number right because we're going to explain what it means by talking your book and doing something I don't like. So let's see. The stocks closed the day before at at 13,617 and closed Friday at 12,202. So let's call it 1,400 points. Let's call it 1,400 points. It was a big drop. It was like 10%. Very big drop. And of course, NVIDIA dropped also $13 and change. There was a social media post. I don't know if they put out anything more than that, from a very respected Fidelity portfolio manager from the past. And he put out this note that NVIDIA created an entity that they funded $1.9 billion with, and also got a company called Apollo, you should know them, to add $3.5 billion of debt. And of that $5.4 billion of that entity bought NVIDIA chips. And he went on to say he thinks that's crookery. That's what the portfolio manager said. He took him to the mat. Well, the NVIDIA CEO goes out and makes announcement after announcement about how big this is going to be, how big that is going to be, how big this is, how big that is, and you should buy the pullback, buy the drop. So the semiconductor index has had a monstrous run, has a 10% pullback, and he's already out there telling everybody to buy. You see something wrong with that? Well, I do. He's the most influential person on this earth on the industry. If things are so fabulous, he wouldn't have to tell people to buy. I've always amazed at somebody getting mad at a short seller. Short sellers are great if your company's doing great. Why? If your company's doing great and your stock keeps going up and performs, guess what? They got a cover, creating short squeezes, fueling the stock even more. So if I had a question of the CEO, what are you so worried about? Why do you have to go out to the world and yell and scream how everything's fabulous, 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 and tell the world to go buy semiconductor stocks the day after it had a 10% drop? You know that line, doth protest too much? Well, we're not accusing him of everything. We're stating what he did. And as always, we'll let you decide. Now, we will state our opinion. It's wrong. He's wrong. It's bad form. It looks bad. And could call into question what's up. That's all. What's up? I noticed that he did not answer in all the talk he did this weekend what this portfolio manager of Fidelity had to say. Because frankly, If there's nothing there, it's the first thing I would have answered. So just letting you know what I would be asking of this man. And as I said last week, if you want to see what this man had to say, his Twitter handle, or X, we'll do that up next. We got music going. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So the gentleman, George Noble, the Twitter handle is it's the @ GNOBLE 79. That's all. Fidelity Overseas Fund was the #1 mutual fund USA. Former Peter Lynch assistant. If anything else comes out on this, we'll let you know. But I got a problem with it. The fact that it was not answered tells me there's something to it. Tells me there's something to it. And tells me that it's factual. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. But he put out the post. And that's that. Imagine funding an entity that buys your product and then booking it as a revenue? Huh? What? Is that possible? Could that be? Anyway, that is all. Anyway, off of that, at one time today, the SOX, which dropped 1,400 points, was up 900 today, finished up 685. So had a very good day. But how do I want to put this? I have very little edge on telling you what I think about today versus Friday and what may or may happen tomorrow or in the next few days. I have very little edge. What I can tell you is it is not atypical when you see such big moves up and down. Listen carefully. That a change in trend may be occurring. Let me explain a little bit on the market and how that works. So you have an entity in the market that's going bazonkas and is just strong to the upside or very weak to the downside. And then all of a sudden, you start to see wild swings. If it was going to the upside, you have a big down day or two, and then a big bounce. And then, well, it's just 2 days. But we're letting you know it may just be that. The same goes, you're dropping like a rock. Your stock has gone from 200 to 130 in a matter of 5 weeks. No let up. And then all of a sudden you go from 130 to 145 one day, but then you drop to 135 the next day, and then you're up to 140. That means buyers may be getting the upper hand versus when something's rallying, it happens, it means sellers are finally showing up. We had not seen anything that resembled selling in the semiconductors. Nothing resembling. So we are not telling you that's what it is. We're letting you know it is not atypical. When you see, after a big move, wild swings will change direction for the near term. We're going to be watching that closely, especially in the semis, because that has been the driving force in the market, in the NASDAQ especially. And the NVIDIA CEO, well, if I got to sit him down, I would tell him respectfully, you're wrong to do that. But anyway, think about this. The semiconductors were up 685 today. The Dow was down 80. And of course, if the SOX is up 685, the NASDAQ was up 220. But also, the NASDAQ today at one time hit 26,179. So that's 250 higher. So the NASDAQ was up 470 at one time today, finished only up 220. The SOX, as we said, was up over 900, finished 685. The Dow today never was up big, but I do believe it hit, I'm about to tell you the exact number, if I can get my bearings straight, 51,277. I take it back. 51,2, that's 277 and 214. That's 491. It was 491 higher. So at one time today, the Dow was up 411 and finished down 80. That's a little bit of distribution. Let me make sure I got that right. 51,277, yeah, I got it right. So just letting you know, was much stronger early, didn't finish great, but the semiconductors were it. But I again want to state, put it in your file manager that your Hanselman Buffed host said to you that it is not atypical after something has a huge move. When it starts to get real crazy days down and up, it very often changes the trend for the near term. We'll let you know. So that was the story today, Dow down 80. I do want to add Apple. Apple held their big worldwide thingamabob today. And I will tell you, Apple hit a high today of 317.40. At one time today, no, really, was 317.40 up like $10, I believe? Am I getting that right? Yeah, when they started the event, it hit 317.40. Yeah, whoa, that's a lot. 16.4 was up $10, finished down $6 and change. And let me tell you, that is a huge frickin' move for an Apple. On how many shares are outstanding? What is that, like a $200 billion swing? Maybe a little bit more? Now, I haven't heard yet what caused it from anybody else, but what I'm looking at, things that they said, it seems like a rollout of AI is farther down the road than expected. So up next, we'll do a little bit more on that and lots more going on in this world. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So I guess the market did not like that they are going with AI and it's going to be later than expected. Who knows? But Apple lost like 2 to 250 billion of market cap today. Is that? Yeah. I got to tell you, for me to say Something lost 250 billion market cap in a couple of hours. Just so you know, that's more than probably 470, 480 stocks market cap in the S&P. And I'm not kidding. And I'm not kidding. It's amazing to talk these numbers. The numbers are just so darn gargantuan for some of these companies. It really is that amazing for me to talk about this. 4 or 5 trillion. I remember when we had the first stock go above $1 trillion. I was like, there's no way it can go that much higher. And boy, wrong. So I just wanted to repeat again something of import. And we'll know soon. It is not atypical. It's not atypical when you have a big move and stocks have that big move, or a sector has that big move. And all of a sudden, you have real wide days both up and down. And that's what you had in the stocks the last 2 days. Let's keep it in the file manager. You got that? In the file manager. Because we remember everything in the market. And if in fact the semiconductor index decides to correct a bunch more, it is these 2 days, and it's the second day that it's up big amount today, that defines it. Not the first day down 10%, but the next day up, about 5%? That defines it. So let's just keep that in mind. Again, does not have to be. We're just big believers, characteristics, bull markets, bear markets, tops, bottoms, uptrends, downtrends, and all that crap. Just keep that in big time mind, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be interesting to see. A lot went on this weekend with Iran and Israel. And let me state it the way I'm nice. Israel's been attacked for decades from bad people. They just went through the October 7th terrorist attack. They are constantly being bombarded with missiles and drones. The people who did October 7th continue to say they want to do it 1,000 times over and wipe them off the face of the earth. Jews are being attacked randomly in different cities, not only here but around the globe. Synagogues have all kinds of miscreants showing up and threatening people walking into synagogues. Some people have walked in with guns and shoot people up. You know where we stand on any of this? And that goes for any race, creed, or color being threatened. The number one job of a country's leader is to defend the country against these things. Our president told their leader to stand down, and I'm calling the shots. I think you have a good understanding what I think of that. The leader of Israel respected it and actually has stood down for the moment. That's not going to last, because murderers and terrorists do not change their spots. They just calculate. That was this weekend. As rockets and drones rained down on Israel from southern Lebanon, which is Hezbollah, the terrorists. Those are the same people that rained down missiles on me when I was in Israel, taken out by the Iron Dome. Our president injected politics in the decision-making because he wants this to be over because of oil prices. We'll see how it plays out. Expect the bad guys to continue being bad. And then expect Israel to put the hammer down. Regardless of who's calling the shots, supposedly. Who, by the way, is still saying things like January 6th was an inside job and they were forced to do it, and is still saying all the elections are rigged. This weekend, we'll move on. Anyway, if the semiconductors, which are so important to this market, further the downside, you get some more weakness in a bunch of things. And I can tell you, looking at my screens today, it wasn't one note, but it was semiconductors and then everything else. And that's how you get your Dow down 80. The S&P only up 21. But the semiconductors up, what is that, 5% today? Which is a huge move. But after dropping 10%. 5.61% today on the semis. Again, Apple was newsy. I explained to you the NVIDIA. By the way, those two stocks are 1-2 in influence. Software did nothing today. Semiconductors did that. The software did nothing today. In fact, a few things were down. A lot of software stocks were down today. You had a bad reaction to earnings to CrowdStrike, down another 13 today. Things like that. Bad reaction to Ciena. That was a leading telecom equipment, whatever. Gap down further today, down $21. And what my job to do is right now is disqualify. That's my job. In other words, if things weaken, what breaks support and or moving average is. And if they break the 50-day, they're disqualified from any consideration to play, because we don't touch anything below the 50-day. On occasion, personally, I'll do some things that we think are below the 50-day, but we think have gone through the bottoming process, but not often. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Ba-da-da. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. All right, let's talk other things. Software did nothing today. In fact, a bunch of software stocks were down. CrowdStrike, which had a bad reaction to earnings, down another 13. Palo Alto down 6. And one of the stronger ones, a stock that I was actually upset that I didn't buy when it moved above a flag at 204, was Twilio. Went as high last week at 238. It's already back down to 212, so I'm feeling a little bit better. Also of note, and I'm just going to go through one after the other, Google, Alphabet, down another 5 and change today. The stock's been hit pretty hard because they are doing an $80 billion stock and bond offering, and the market don't like that. On Friday, Meta dropped 30-something, and they have not disavowed it, that they're going to do tens of billions of dollars of an stock offering also, was down another $6 today. We're now hearing maybe Amazon. Now keep in mind, these are cash-generating machines with tons of cash, and they're willing to dilute their own stock and also go into more debt in order to fund this whole artificial intelligence thing. It's very weird to watch, ladies and gentlemen. But these mega cap companies, their stocks are getting hit on this news. Just want to let you know. Bitcoin, it finally bounced. And when I say finally bounced, I can tell you that the last move down, 8 days, 7 out of 8 days down, and there were some big downs, so finally bounced, but I can promise you this, it does not change the trajectory. It's an oversold bounce. The IBIT, which is an ETF for this, went from 44 to 34 in those days. It's a big frickin' drop. So just letting you know on the crypto. And again, I'm just wondering if we've had the cryptoites fed up seeing the AI stuff and making the moves. That's what I think. Plus also you got the guy running Strategy, used to be called MicroStrategy, selling. But I heard he's been doing some buying, but I don't give a crap what he does. I think the whole thing is nuts. What kind of strategy is, I'm just going to take everything and leverage and buy one asset? And by the way, the last bear market had it drop 75%. It's an insane asylum, ladies and gentlemen, what goes on out there. It's an absolute insane asylum. I had to bring this up. Hershey's. Stock was down almost $9 today. And I didn't see any news. Which has me wondering about my complaints. Not at Hershey's, it's not their fault. If cocoa prices skyrocket, I don't know, 3 years ago, one of those bags of when Hershey's in the bag for Halloween and stuff was going for like $9.99. It's now $14.99. I'm seeing 50% increases in a pack of 6 Hershey bars. 50%. Anybody who says prices are down is full of crap. There's some things down. I know eggs have dropped. Yay. But I got news for you. Paper products, chocolate, chips. Go look. The mid-size bags are the size of the small bags now, just about. And the prices are the same. And the list goes on. And beef. Do you know in the restaurants in New York City, what used to be $50 is now $75? Beef prices in restaurants, let alone go into the store. A lot of that going on. I got to tell you, when I hear about people worried, I get why. And I do the shopping. Prices just stick. Now, the good news is, had a little drop in gas prices. Still elevated, though. Hasn't changed much. And I just wonder, and I'm not sure of this, but I'm going to make the statement, I'm not so sure oil prices are going to drop as quick as people think once all that crap gets fixed up. I'm not so sure it's going to be that easy. But it's still, I guess, closed off to a certain extent. Some getting through, but nothing like it used to. I do believe the good news, listen carefully, because of this, what's happened, pretty damn sure you're going to see countries look to move oil to them different ways, not depending on one area. And I'm already seeing that from Saudi and some of these others. I think that's going to go on. Housing. Inventory is still at a record versus days to buy. Just letting you know. The amount of houses in inventory, record amounts. And I can tell you, a lot of areas in Florida, ground zero right now for prices coming down. I told you about that. I warned you. It's a buyer's market. The good news is I do not believe it's '08, and we called that. I believe this is the normalization of Powellitis that caused the dislocations. If that changes, we will certainly let you know. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well, and most importantly, go Knicks. Don't rest on 2-0. Make it 3. Good night, all. Bye-bye.